Ending today's session are going to be our closing remarks from Dr. Lloyd Minor, our Carl and Elizabeth Naumann Dean, for Stanford University School of Medicine. So thank you, Dean Minor, for joining us.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be with all of you today virtually, although certainly sorry about the circumstances that cause us to be together virtually. I just want to pick up on a point that Professor Glassberg just made so eloquently, and that is that everything we do is dependent upon trust. And I think that was so well stated. And this has been a challenging time for us in leadership of any organization because, to use a tried analogy, we're building the plane while we're flying it. We haven't really known what to expect next. And we've tried to cobble together the systems and the programs and the resources needed for us to respond as best we can to the effects of the pandemic, the health effects of the pandemic, the disruptive effects of the pandemic on many other aspects of our operations, our research, our teaching mission, as well as making patient care itself much more complicated than it was before the pandemic because of the added complexity of the pandemic. And I think the keys to trust, the first key is communication and openness and receiving feedback, even when that feedback is negative, and even when that feedback leaves us feeling a little bit like, but we're doing the very best we can. Because in the eyes of those that are giving us that feedback, they're not sitting in our seats, and nor should they have to be sitting in our seats. And it just should cause each of us to redouble our efforts to listen, to learn, to do what we can do, to allow people to express their frustrations, but also to keep our vision and our insights looking forward. And in so doing, I think it builds that essential element of trust that Professor Glassberg so correctly identified is essential for everything we do. I even before the pandemic, I've been so pleased and honored with our relationship with Rambam. And during the pandemic, that's been underscored time and time again. I feel like our two countries are going through the pandemic in parallel with different manifestations, but we've learned a lot from each other. I certainly have learned a lot from what is being done at Rambam and other places in Israel. And as always, I'm extraordinarily impressed by the innovation, by the dedication, by the acute focus on problem solving that I see at Rambam and I see really throughout Israel. And so we're pleased that you're our partner, that we're able to come together and discuss our responses, and that we're building these programs together. So thank you all very much. And let's hope, as Professor Glassberg said, that next year we can gather in person and share thoughts in person. But until then, let's make sure that symposia like this keep us in close contact.